Okay, we are live. Go ahead and invite me whenever you are ready.
Okay. Yeah, just be wary. This map is possibly the biggest map
I'm
ever.
fine with big. I just want to. Hopefully, I'll be able to see what the hell's going on.
Actually, never mind. I don't think anything's going to be bigger than the James Bond map. I just remembered how long that one took. But
Oh
that one
yeah.
was at least fun, you know?
Mhm.
Okay, sent you the invite.
It's already 9:45. I can go a little past midnight probably. So let's see if we can finish it tonight. I guess. All right.
Yeah, no problem. Because when they give these average times, it's like for one person.
Right. Right.
So,
Okay. Well, early impression is that I can at least see. My janitor is 16 years old, and like I literally can't even get in to see R-rated movies, so I probably shouldn't be doing this shit.
yeah,
Aren't
considering the fucking death toll, yeah.
I mean, like, aren't there child labor laws?
I mean, aren't there slave labor laws? Like, figure those
Well,
would be
I
more
mean,
relevant,
this is a
right?
dirty job, but someone has to do it. I understand that. Oh, cool. This isn't one of the old maps because we have a full, like, whole body. All right.
Yeah. So,
Hey, Cable Man. Did I like school? Well, I didn't go to school very much overall because I never went to middle school or high school or elementary school of any kind. I liked some things in college and I disliked some other things. So it just all kind of depends. I didn't like having to pay money to somebody so they could make me work hard and make me miserable. I'm much happier having a job where, yeah, sometimes you get somebody's making you miserable, but at least you're getting paid for it.
yeah, my whole problem with school and everything is just, it's an extension of my problem with government workers in general.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't think the teachers are good people because it's really, really difficult for them to ever get fired.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's really not good, you know. No one should ever be able to work a job where it's almost impossible for them to get fired because the simple fact is there's lots of different things that a person can do that would necessitate them getting fired. And if they're protected from that by whatever reason, that might sound good for the individual, but it is not good for the customer. And the customer, especially when it comes to government agencies, is you and me, And not only that, it's our children too. And that's really not good. Like, I hate teachers because of incidents and experiences that I had when I was going through public school here in California, where the school system hired an illegal immigrant who could not fucking speak English. And the only fucking opening that they had in the staff for him was to go teach an English class. Not only that, he was teaching AP English to a bunch of fucking 11th graders. So I'm sitting here like, how fucking stupid is that this dude can't speak English and he's teaching a fucking AP? Like, obviously, everybody who was in that class didn't pass the AP exam. So, like, what a humongous fucking waste of time it was for those poor sons of bitches. Now they're forced when they go to college and now they're paying for it. They have to fucking take that English class because they didn't get the chance to skip it. And why is because for whatever reason they decided to take it upon themselves to circumvent the law to try to protect this guy, to just keep him in there long enough without, anyone raising the alarm for him to get tenure so he's protected. You know?
Yeah, you
That's
would
just
think that would
fucking
be
stupid.
You would think that would be something that would raise the alarm, but you'd be wrong.
Right. Man, that's just one example among many. And at times like this, I'm thinking of Canada Boy, where I would talk about my own personal experiences, and he would say, "Excuse me, source, please."
Mhm.
Jesus.
Favorite
But
drink?
anyway,
Cable Man, I sort of like lemonade, I guess. Overall, that's kind of my go-to luxury drink. I don't drink any alcohol. It's just bad. Alcohol's bad, okay. Yeah, I'm trailing a ton of blood behind me right now because of the stupid physics engine in this game.
last map. Don't worry, last map.
Oh, no. I'm not really too mad about it. Like, I can see on this map. I appreciate that. That's...
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like the stupid tunnel map where you can't see anything. No, at least I'm able to clearly and visibly move towards my goal. Like,
Yeah,
one of the things about this game that I like is how satisfying it is to go from a disgusting hellhole to a pristine environment. And know that, like, you did that. But if you can't see what's going on around you, you don't really get that.
yeah. No, I agree. Did you find the femputer?
Not yet. I've seen a lot of the data chips, though.
Oh, you know what a cyst is?
Yeah, it's kind of a... It's not a tumor, but it's like a tumorous growth in your body, isn't it?
Yeah, you know how it's spelled?
CYST?
Yes. Okay, I was bringing that up because I wanted to share with you this story. The last map that we were on, I picked up one of these identifier chips.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was named Dr. Cyst, and it was
Mm-hmm.
spelled like that, but his first name was
Mm-hmm.
Ray.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's pretty good.
Wow. I wonder if there's a chip in this game named a Sadie N-word.
Based. Okay, I'm upstairs looking for computer. I still don't see it.
No, Cable Man, I don't like Taco Bell. If I eat more than one taco at Taco Bell, I deeply regret it later. I don't like
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, the computer's upstairs. The upstairs level is really, really small, so
Okay.
don't worry about it. It's really easy to find.
Alright.
I'm trying to collect all the little chips right now. Here at least. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna get working on up here. You
Alright.
stay down there.
So, I watched a Mariners doubleheader today because they rained out yesterday, so they had to play 2 games today. And the new rules are that doubleheader games are 7 innings long. So the game just ends after 7 innings unless it's tied. It's very weird. It really does feel like Little League rules sometimes with what they're doing to change the game.
Yeah, it. Not only that, but here's the thing that really bothers me. I'm a big fan of records in baseball
Hmm.
because of how long the sport's been around. It's nice to be able to sit there and say, wow, like we've had over 150 years of tradition in this game, and that's the first time anybody's ever done anything like that. That's pretty impressive.
Hmm.
When you change the rules around like that, there are certain things that's going to be like, okay, well, then the record obviously doesn't fucking matter anymore because, things become easier or they become harder. So like easier to the point where something, like a record that used to stand for so many years, like fucking any swinging dick can do it now. Or it becomes so much harder that it's like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if anyone's ever actually better than that. They'll never be able to catch it because it's just not, the game's not played that way anymore. And I can't think of any examples of that off the top of my head, but when you say things like, yeah, now doubleheader games, the innings are just going to be, or the games are just going to be 7 innings long, and I'm like, well, that's an example of something that could fuck everything up.
Hmm.
Or like having extra innings where there's, it starts off with a dude already on second base, and like every single inning, it's all like, okay, well, that kind of sucks because one of the things they were trying to do to make the game more exciting this year was to make it easier to steal bases. If a guy already starts on second, then there's no fucking tension and excitement over a guy stealing second. He's already
Right.
there.
Right. Right.
And that's a tremendous disappointment. So, like, I get what they're trying to do, but I feel like a lot of these rules are just gimmicks to raise interest right now. And that within the next couple of seasons, everyone's going to be like, what the hell were they thinking? Let's just fucking get rid of this shit.
Yeah, at the end of the day, baseball is still baseball. It's going to be a boring sport to a lot of people, and that's fine.
Right.
But,
It's also not boring to a lot of people. Like I still stand by what I said. It's my favorite sport to watch when I'm at the gym because I can work out and not miss anything. And I'm not insulting baseball when I say that. Like if I'm trying to watch basketball and I put my head down and fucking pump out a set and come back up, like I could have missed a dozen different things that happened. Unless they happen to be shooting free throws at the time, then I wouldn't have missed anything. But that's just about the amount of time that it takes between a pitch. So I'm like, great, I didn't miss fucking anything, and I love to, oh crap, bases are loaded, and this fucking guy's got a, he worked the full count after starting out 0-2. I can't wait to
Mhm.
see what happens next.
Yeah. My favorite baseball record, like the kind of thing you were just talking about, is a season where you have an ops plus of 1,250 or more. It's been done, I think, I think it's been done like 7 times in the history of baseball across 130 something years. Babe Ruth did it 4 times, Ted Williams did it 2 times, and Barry Bonds did it 3 times, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing to me that, like, even during the hitters boom of the 90s, when, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were hitting all those home runs, they still couldn't get their ops plus above 1,250.
Yeah. Stuff like that. That exactly.
Mhm.
And funny to me because they're trying to change all this different shit in baseball right now, but what's one of the biggest stories in baseball this season so far? Fucking Shohei Ohtani. Here's a pitcher and he's fucking framing these fucking balls, man. He's just crushing them. And it's got people, it's all like, maybe we should be expecting pitchers to be able to bat because this dude's like a fucking modern day Babe Ruth. He's a fucking animal. Like, look at this shit. And, he's making every other pitcher in the league look bad, because he's not asking anybody else to bat for him. He's stepping up fucking big time. Like, this dude's fucking, like you were just talking about OPS. It's like, this dude's OPS for a pitcher is fucking retarded. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's a freak.
In addition to, of course, having all the hardest hit balls in the whole fucking season, by like a country mile. And, it's what that means is it's a ton of fun to watch. And I'm bringing him up right now because nothing that he's doing has anything to do with the new rules. None of the ways that the game has changed would have impacted what he's doing right now. If they didn't change anything, he'd still be doing exactly what he's doing. So, like, well, you know what? You want to know how to make baseball more exciting? That's what you do. You need more Shohei Otanis, not more fucking rule changes. You know, I mean, what made the NBA so popular in the fucking 90s? You know, it wasn't all those other great guys who were dominating, who were doing crazy shit. It was fucking Michael Jordan.
Hmm.
So, you know, did the league need all those different rule changes? Remember when they made the 3-point line shorter? That did make the game more exciting. Michael Jordan did.
Yeah,
No,
but
not that I'm saying Shohei Ohtani is going to be the NBA or Major League Baseball's Michael Jordan, but I'm sitting there like, look, you know, that to me is what they should be trying to do is, you know,
yeah,
find guys that play in a more exciting way, not trying to change the game to be more exciting. Because there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with the game.
I mean, that's crazy to me. Like those are the, you know, three greatest hitters of all time. And other than those three guys, I don't think anybody's really gotten all that close. And I just wonder who's the next guy who's going to actually have a season like that. You know, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Barry Bonds.
Honestly, probably Shohei Ohtani. Either him or Mike Trout.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. Like Trout has had some amazing seasons already, obviously, and he still hasn't done it yet. It's crazy.
You watch John Boy at all?
John Boy, is he a YouTuber?
Yeah, he's pretty, probably the most famous YouTuber in the baseball community right now because what he does is baseball breakdowns, and he's like
Mhm.
obviously probably YouTube's biggest baseball fan with how much effort he's putting into this shit.
Mhm. Yeah.
I really liked his breakdown that he had the other day because he was talking about Mike Trout, and he said this is one of my favorite matchups to watch in the league right now. I forget the guy's name, but he's a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. He almost exclusively throws four-seam fastball.
Walker Bueller?
It might be. I'm not sure because again, I can't remember the guy's name. But he pretty much exclusively throws the four-seamer, and he's really fucking good at it. Like he's insanely good at it. Probably the best fastball pitcher in the league right now.
Mhm.
And going up against Trout, Trout is easily the greatest fastball pitcher that we've seen in the league since, you know, guys like Bonds. Like he's just fucking insane against the fastball. But what's crazy is that when you watch these two go at the head-to-head, Trout looks awful. Like he's getting exactly what you'd figure he'd want. Here's the pitcher that specializes in the four-seamer. He's throwing the fastball, and he throws it aggressively too. Like he's not like specializing in throwing it out of the zone and making guys reach for it. He just goes right at you. I was like, here's a guy who's not even, you know, fucking breaking triple digits, and he's still just blowing it past Trout. Like Trout can't even make contact. And that was what John Boy was bringing up. He's like, you know, when Trout's swinging at a fastball in the strike zone, you know, he makes contact over 86% of the time or something like that. And, you know, he's just constantly getting swing and misses and like hitting nothing when he's up against that pitcher. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? That right there. I wish these two had the chance to go up against each other more often. Because, you know, like, again, that's an example of what's going to make baseball more exciting.
Yeah. The thing about baseball that always kind of caught my attention was the whole game has been solved by stats at this point. There is nothing left.
Oh, hey, real quick, is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Since the computer's upstairs, I'm trying to put all a little fucking flash
Yeah,
drives
that's
right
what
here.
I'm doing. That's what I'm doing too. But yeah, it's like in football and basketball, there are still like little areas that the statistics haven't figured out how to fully capture. But baseball,
And
they've really kind of solved the whole game.
I know what you're talking about, and I think the reason is that baseball, there was more of a push to accept it. I don't think that football and basketball are more complicated, because honestly, with the way that baseball works, like there's no way that it's not more complicated. But there's been a lot more resistance towards, you know, the sabermetrics aspect of football and basketball. There are still guys in the league today who are high up level fucking executives, general managers, coaches, who are still sitting there saying some watch them play kind of shit. Fucking, you know, advanced stats don't mean shit. You know, these guys just need heart, is what they need to win. And it's all like, well, who the fuck is doing that in baseball nowadays? Because, like you said, you know, people have realized that the game statistically is figured out.
Yeah.
So
Did
that
I?
anybody talks about those advanced stats, and it's all like, these other sports can easily do that, as long as you have less fucking, Jay and John Grudens.
Yeah. Yeah, did I told you the John Gruden story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, every team in the league uses Moneyball now, which is why the Oakland Athletics can't win the World Series because every team is now doing what they're doing.
Right. And then it goes right back to, oh yeah, these teams are really, they got a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing, it's like we're seeing, the Yankees and the Dodgers and all them being competitive. In fact, the Dodgers just won a World Series, but at the same time, you're still seeing a lot of teams that are not the biggest spenders in the league who are going out and winning. And what we've realized in the last couple of years is that there is one definitive way to be able to beat the teams that can outspend you when they're doing Moneyball too. And that is, of course, to cheat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And like I really liked Bill Burr's take on the Astro situation when that story first broke, the way that
Mm-hmm.
he said it. Do you remember what he said?
No, I do not.
What he said was, he's all like, cry me a fucking river. So what? If anything, we should be applauding the Astros because you know what? They figured out a way as a small market team to beat the fucking big money spenders. He's all like, cry me a fucking river. Who's complaining about this shit? The guys who lost in the World Series to it. The Dodgers. Oh, boo fucking who? You couldn't win another ring by just buying it. Boo fucking who? He's all like, don't tell me that shit, dude, because everybody cheats. The Astros just did it better. He's all like, because his perspective is, he's all like, I don't see any difference between sign stealing and spending $200 million on a single player just because you can, just to make sure that you get them. No, and I gotta say, I really agree with that perspective. It's because that's what competition is. Not everyone's gonna have the same set of abilities. It becomes unfair when you only judge upon one particular set of abilities. When they only want to judge, what team deserves to win based off of who can spend the most money, well, that sucks. But what happens when everyone can compete in different ways, Let's see the Angels get by on talent. Great for them, man. That's fucking nice. It's nice to see. Let's see the Dodgers get by on money. Well, okay, whatever, I guess. But hey, at least, they've got a hell of a roster put together. It's pretty fun to watch. Oh, hey, let's see the Astros win by cheating. Well, all right. I love to see those Dodgers fans cry. They're fucking confused. They're like, wait a minute. How can anybody hit Kershaw's slider?
And well, they didn't strip the title from the Astros, so I think it's very clear that the Astros don't regret what they did at all and would do it again. Like they got a title out of it. Now everyone hates them, but I think it's very clear that they don't regret what they did. How could they?
Yeah, it's a question of like, what did they lose? And it's pretty simple. They didn't lose anything. Not only because they weren't punished, but it's all like, look, the worst thing that could have happened to them because they weren't punished is that there was like less fan engagement and they weren't making as much money. But oh, hey, wouldn't you know it? The fucking season after that news breaks is fucking COVID. So no one's making money. Like, when you think about it, we haven't even seen if there's been any negative effects at all for the Astros yet.
Yeah. And even if they do take it away, like, Reggie Bush, they took away his Heisman Trophy, right? He's not the only one, but they stripped Reggie Bush of his Heisman Trophy. They stripped Derrick Rose of everything he did when he was at Memphis. But it was still probably worth it for those guys to do that because you can't take away their memories of what they did. You can't take.
I don't know too much about those particular incidents. Were those because of the rapes?
Um, what was it? It might have been that Reggie Bush. I think for Reggie Bush, it was because he was taking tons of money under the table from USC to go there. And to me, it's just like I seriously doubt he regrets doing that because he got to have the time of his life in college, and he still
He
has. Yeah.
Right. Like obviously he doesn't regret that shit. I mean, Fucking good example is Shaq. Shaq, after he retired, he's like, well, hell yeah, LSU fucking paid me a shitload of money to come play for him. Why the fuck else would I sign with them? And like LSU got in trouble, but Shaq didn't. So like, why would Shaq fucking care?
Yeah. As for Derrick Rose, he cheated on his SATs, I think, which was the only reason he got into Memphis. So, that being the case, him being an idiot who can't pass, who probably would have gotten single digits on his SAT if he tried to take it legit, you know, he
Actually,
did what
really
he had
funny.
to do.
Yeah, that's actually really funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember that now, because like Webstead was fucking sitting there like laughing about it so much, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck are you laughing about, Nancy boy? You wouldn't have done any better than he did if he took it legit.
Yeah. And, like, if the alternative was to, I don't know, go play for some team that is so pathetic they don't care about his SAT scores at all and probably wouldn't have become such a high-profile prospect, I assume cheating on your SATs is worth it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Like, you know, I have one of these philosophies, and for a lot of my life, when I would tell people about this, they would get the wrong idea. You know, they'd think that I was like a lazy piece of shit or something. And I'm sitting here laughing now because as time goes by, a lot of people are coming around to this way of thinking. So I'm like, hey, I was right. And that is, there's no point whatsoever in doing more than you have to. You should always put in the absolute least amount of effort that it requires in order for you to accomplish your goals. Now, people always thought that I was trying to endorse laziness because they hear that and they think, oh, well, he just, Jesus Christ, it's the fourth fucking limb in a row that the mop bucket spit out at me. Trying to endorse laziness because I'm saying that, and I'm like, well, no, because it depends on what your goals are. If your goals are to like, hey, you know, I want to be elected and be the youngest president of the United States ever, it's like, well, that's going to take a hell of a lot of effort. But you know what? However much effort it does require, you should only do the bare minimum for it to get it. You know, like my goal when I was in college was to fucking get straight A's, and I did. And I worked really hard for that, but I put in the absolute fucking bare minimum amount of effort that I needed to for that. You know, when I had two classes had something that was due on the same day and I had to make a choice, I'm like, okay, well, which grade is higher? I've got a 97 in this class and I've got a 91 in this class. Okay, I'm going to work on the 91 then, and the 97 can get fucked. So, you know, maybe my teacher for the 97 class, I hate the fucking physics system in this game because I can only take one mop bucket up at a time. You know, maybe the teacher for the 97 class thought, wow, you know, hey, Snacks, he's pretty fucking lazy. Like, why'd he just not even do this assignment? But it's because I'm going to have an A in this class regardless. So let me work on the class that, you know, I need to fight for that A.
Yeah. When I started working my first real job at AT&T, we would have test cycles where basically, you know, the client would send us their application. We would test it against the specs and send back, you know, like a success versus failure report so they could try to fix the things that didn't work and make it better for the next cycle. And, you know, we very easily could have completed an entire cycle against their application in like 2 days, maybe even 1 day. But we always made it take 5 days because if we started doing it in 2 days, they would expect it every time.
Right.
So I was told to pace myself.
Yeah, that's a great example. And the whole reason that I brought this up is because we were talking about Derrick Rose cheating on his SATs, and I'm like, well, you know, obviously I don't endorse doing that kind of thing. But if your goal as Derrick Rose is to make it to a big name college and you need a certain fucking thing that's going on, like, I mean, things worked out for him, you know, because like you said, sure, they stripped him all of that shit, but he still got taken #1 overall in the NBA. He was still fucking MVP, still made a shit zillion dollars. And like you said, if he didn't cheat and had to go to a school that didn't care about how bad he did on the SATs, who knows how much that would have fucked over his career aspirations.
Yeah, because it only took 1 year for him to get taken 1 overall. He only had 1 college season.
And exactly, that's another thing, is that how fucking stupid it is with the feeder system in the NBA of how the whole college fucking thing works is a complete joke, because you can declare for the NBA draft after just 1 season. And it's all like, well, what they ought to do is just let guys going right out of high school again, you know, because how well do you think LeBron would have done on the SATs when he was in high school? No, he probably would have done really well. And you know why? He would have fucking cheated too.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Eric Rose is not the guy who cheated on his SATs. He's the guy that got caught cheating on his SATs.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sit there and tell me that guys like fucking Kevin Garnett and Dwight Howard wouldn't have done the exact same shit if they were in that situation.
Yeah, actually, a lot of Heisman winners from the OOs got stripped of their Heisman. Reggie Bush is just the most famous example. Cam Newton almost got stripped of his, but he managed to evade that.
Right. And I was just kidding around when I said the rapes, but, like, that's a serious fucking thing, too. Like, a lot of these guys go on and commit serious, heinous crimes, and, you know, nobody seems to give a shit about that, and then they fucking take it really serious when he's cheating on his fucking SATs.
Mm-hmm. It is weird. Like, you know me. You know I don't care for Colin Kaepernick at all. I'm not really here to defend him, but it always struck me as very weird that he couldn't play in the NFL, but somebody like Greg Hardy could when he tried to kill his girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't make a lot of sense. I have to admit. That doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you. The line being drawn about certain behaviors is completely fucking weird. But what I think it is that obviously Kaepernick is responsible. Like, he's personally responsible for him not having a job because he was gonna get a job with the Ravens. Fucking Ray Lewis was gonna cape up for him right up until when Kaepernick was on the fucking plane heading over. His girlfriend started mouthing off about Ray Lewis and the Ravens owner.
I remember,
and, comparing them to Colin Candy and the guy that Sam Jackson played in
Django Unchained.
Yeah. So, you know, it's Kaepernick's fault he doesn't have a job. But what I was gonna say is, you know, it's a different perspective about different things there, because when you're gonna come down on a guy, you gotta keep in mind how many other guys are guilty of the same thing. Now, Kaepernick, at the time that he did it, he was pretty much the only guy that was kneeling during the anthem, and he was also the only guy who was routinely mouthing off in the media. Plus, he had his girlfriend who had the fucking nationwide radio broadcast where she would also mouth off about this kind of shit.
Well, I mean,
so that's not just the typical fucking PR disaster that you can expect in the same situation like with Greg Hardy, but that they're going to go out of their way to make sure that people are aware of the fucking PR disaster. You know, it's a problem that will escalate pretty significantly. And in a Greg Hardy-like situation, if you come down on him for that kind of shit, well, pretty much every guy that plays in the NFL is thugging his girlfriend because all of these dudes have room temperature IQs, all of these dudes are on steroids, and all of these dudes are pieces of shit. So, you know, come down on Greg Hardy like that, you got to take the time to realize, well, fuck, you know, people are going to think that we're hypocrites if we don't come on everybody about this. Even some of the coaches are fucking, you know, thugging their girlfriends. Like,
do you remember the Dolphins assistant coach who took a video on Instagram of him doing cocaine in the locker room? This was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, you know, that's another good example too. You know, there's a lot of dumb shit like that. I mean, when you think about it, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all because, you know, he coaches the Steelers if Mike Tomlin was fucking thugging his girlfriend. You know?
Mass Temple, I can't really do videos breaking down NFL film because when I try to do that, the NFL comes and chops my penis off. So, yeah, no more film study videos for me. YouTube is not having it. So that's kind of out of the question. Yes, Daniel, I heard about that. I may make a video about it tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. But it's pretty interesting because it would definitely alleviate an area of need. The only thing is, you know, Aldon Smith is both a Sam linebacker and a Leo end. So do we really need another Leo end? So would he just be a 100% Sam? I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, even though he's a Dolphins coach, I still think, maybe Brian Flores, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd been thugging his girlfriend,
Hmm. Yeah,
because
it is amazing.
unfortunately, you just gotta realize that there's been a negative fucking culture over in the Dolphins for a long time. Like, I mean, we had that guy Self for a while. You can't tell me he doesn't thug his girlfriend.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh.
I can't believe he never once got suspended by the NFL, Sue. Like, there was a point in time where it just seemed so obvious they needed to do something about that. Maybe I could do that, Mask, yeah. Is he, Daniel? Is he better than Dunlap? I don't know if I agree with that, but other than Dunlap, he might be, yeah. So if we bring in Smith, do we just cut Mayoa? That's my question. Mhm. Hold on, I'm getting messaged.
Oh yeah. There's a ton of the weird shit that you gotta fucking laser up here.
Okay.
So I'm trying to take care of it, but my lack of patience is telling because I'm creating a lot of the ash
Yeah.
thing that the laser welder does. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for this thing to cool down. Fuck it.
You
So
know,
this is a disaster up here. That being the case, I don't know. Could you do me a favor? Could you stack? Well, don't stack them, but just bring 5 mop buckets over to the elevator,
yeah, sure.
please.
I
Thank you.
got you. Okay. I mean, I really like Alden Smith, don't get me wrong, Daniel, except for the part where he's a complete psychopath and another good example of somebody who is probably thugging his girlfriend, but um he did kind of disappear as the season went on last year for the Cowboys. I think he started really strong and then faded. Yeah, do you know Alden Smith at all? Do you know that name at all, Sax? I know you
Yeah.
don't follow the. Yeah, he was the guy who called in a fake bomb threat at an airport as a practical joke.
Nice.
I don't know if that's based or cringe, but
There's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and that's a situation where it's like, that either takes a lot of balls or not a lot of brains to think that's a good idea.
yeah.
Probably a little of both.
Yeah, Daryl Taylor at Sam linebacker is an interesting discussion, but I would prefer to have a backup plan in case it doesn't work out, Mass, because he's never even been on a NFL field playing in an NFL game before it. So it's okay if we're going to do that, but I would like to maybe pursue something else. Yeah, that's true, Daniel. That's a good point. I don't know though. I like Alden Smith, but if we brought him in at this point, he probably would just. I mean, we already have 4 Leos on this team. We have 4 Leos who all need playing time. So if we bring in Alden Smith, are we going to try to trade Rasheem Green for a 6th rounder or something? Maybe. I don't know. That's not a bad idea.
In this context, what does Leo mean? Law enforcement officer?
No, 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 no. There are
Okay,
two
I was like,
different.
these guys bringing their parole officers out on the fucking.
No, no,
Because
no.
all these guys are felons.
At the defensive end position in football, there are 2 different kinds of players. Leo, who tend to be more speed rusher. They're just like straight up like trying to get around the edge and get to the quarterback. And then you have 5 techs who tend to be a little more like focused on just absorbing the blockers and using their strength. It's just basically how you play defensive end stylistically. The heavier players tend to be 5 techs. The stronger players tend to be 5 techs. And the faster players tend to be Leos.
Okay. Hey, well, I accidentally melted a lot of shit up here because apparently when the laser's on its highest possible setting, it just does shit.
Um,
You know what I mean?
is that going to be a problem?
No, because it's just like crates and barrels and stuff. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't either.
Last map, But just being like, whoa. Because before I start to clean all this up, I actually want you to come up here so that you can see what I've done.
Okay.
But I'm coming down, so don't do anything yet.
All right. I got to get this blood on the ceiling over here.
Crap. Okay, when that happens.
Okay. So we need to laser off these weird looking growths on the wall, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the ones that
Alright.
are too big to be picked up, yeah, you gotta
Alright,
laser 'em.
I will start on that because I haven't been doing that yet. It's actually one of the few things that's still left to do down here. It's pretty good down here.
I'd say though that you should be doing that before you work on mopping up stuff, because if you're
Mhm.
anything like me, then the lack of patience will cause the whole thing to just go fucking
Alright, there's
horrible.
another laser gun down here somewhere. I saw it.
Oh, nice. I see your little hot buckets you brought up here. Thank you.
Mhm. You think you're going to need all of those?
Genuinely, yes.
Yeah.
You had no idea how bad it is up here, because I didn't clean up anything. I just said, okay, I'm just gonna go crazy with this fucking laser. See what
I
happens.
may end up doing the same thing. We'll see.
And before the physics system fucks all these buckets up. It's just a huge mess everywhere. Oh god. Oh yeah, the spawning vendor machine thingy is also up here for first aid kits and stuff.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay, yep, we've got ash marks and scorch marks everywhere over here, but that's okay.
I think that's bad. Whew. Go ahead and come up here. Like, try to do it reasonably soon, because I want to get working on cleaning this stuff. But
I'm
you
coming.
gotta see this.
I'm coming.
Like, I don't know if it had happened for you, because your computer's better than mine now, but my computer starts to lag when I get close to it.
Alright. I'm coming. But yeah, if we brought in Alden Smith, that would definitely make the draft a little easier, because it would be one less position we'd have to consider. Okay, no lag yet. A little bit, I think, kind of, sort of. Holy moly, look at all this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all these little black balls here is trash that we gotta get rid of. I'm realizing now that there's still a lot of stuff that I gotta do. Yeah.
God damn. Okay. I'm gonna get downstairs and get working on mine.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah,
That was...
I mean, if you think it's bad now, imagine how it was before I started. Yeah.
Mhm.
When all that shit was just the growth, like pretty much that entire fucking room was just AIDS.
Mhm. But yeah, Daniel, did you watch my tight end video from earlier today, by any chance?
I think what he saw was my post in the Discord when I said I'm scouting tight ends too, and then posted pictures of yoga pants.
Yeah. I mean, we're all doing that.
I was like, you know what? That's really good. I should creep out when I'm at the fucking gym and just be like, hey, don't worry, baby girl. I'm scouting tight ends. You know, like guy that wears a shirt that says FBI, Federal Bikini Inspector.
Mhm. Man, this stuff is nasty. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about this growth on the wall. No, Daniel, I was wondering which... I know you were kind of on board with the idea of bringing in a second playmaking tight end. I was wondering who your favorite might have been. Who's your guy?
This is what I meant by I was definitely going to need all these buckets. Is like, I haven't even gotten inside the room yet, and I've already finished using 2.
You're going to need more than just 5.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah, Mask. Apparently, Brevin Jordan had a bad pro day, and some people are a little off of him because of it, but I still think he's good.
This is one thing I hate really, really badly in this game. When certain artistic designs of the environment make it look like it's still dirty even after you clean it.
Mm-hmm.
Really annoying.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know when it's actually clean? Okay, I've only got half the buckets that I brought up here left.
Who is Tamarian Terry, Daniel? I know who Israel Mukuamu is, obviously, but who is Tamarian Terry? I don't know that name.
Mary and Terry, isn't that the two identical twins from Sister Sister?
I remember that.
Sister Sister's on Netflix right now, and I'm all like, damn, I forgot how much of a smoke show the mom character was. Holy shit. 'Cause, you know, Moogie's out here like, yeah, I just don't find black women attractive. I'm like, look at that one, dog. Tell me she ain't.
He's a receiver. Okay, no, I must have missed the boat on him, Daniel. Not familiar with that name.
Holy fuck, that's a lot of soot. I fucking swiped my mop once in one area, and on the floor, there was no change in the look, but my mop was immediately maxed out dirtiness.
Well, this game does a pretty good job of stacking dirtiness, I have to say.
It's bad over here. Whew. Okay, only got 2 buckets left. The good news is, as I continue wiping stuff down, the game's loading faster. So that's much better.
Ivan Snacks does have a YouTube account. I don't know what he posts on there, but he doesn't like do streaming like I do.
Yeah, I have my regular YouTube account, which I use for just be able to subscribe to people and watch videos and stuff. I do have one channel that I'm putting videos on, but I can guarantee you none of you guys would be interested in what I'm putting up there.
I mean, going big on YouTube really does, unless you get very lucky, take years of commitment.
Yeah, which is why I'm not caring about the whole thing. I'm just doing it because somebody wanted me to.
Like, you could get lucky and just create some meme video that ends up getting massively spiked by the YouTube algorithm. It does happen.
Okay, I'm out of buckets, and I barely notice a difference. Took a long time. Yeah.
So, sometime later this week, I should finish that single-player game I'm playing, Snacks, so I'll pretty much be free to do whatever going forward as much as you would like. I know you said that you were going to start being a little busier as time went on, which is obviously understandable, but yeah.
Hopefully, but it hasn't happened yet. What's crazy is when I started watching Sister and Sister again, I got interested in thinking about it. You know, I wanted to see what those 2 girls had been up to. And it's really strange because not only is this strange for Hollywood, it's strange for modern day, and it's especially strange for women, and especially strange for black women. They actually succeeded in their first marriages. Like they didn't get divorced, and they're still with the guys.
That's cool.
Yeah, one of them actually married a Fox News anchor contributor guy. You know, one of the talking heads that they have.
Oh yeah.
And they got like a bunch of kids, and that's the really strange thing is that as it was a white guy, and I was like, whoa, because in Sister Sister, They had the two characters when they started dating. One of them would do interracial stuff, and the other one wouldn't. And the one that wouldn't is the one who actually did that in real life, and then the one that did is the one who married a black guy in real life. But yeah, they've actually, no divorces or nothing. So I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, actually, a real family and all that kind of shit. And that's the funny thing and the really sad thing. Shows you how far our fucking, how bad things have gotten when it comes to the shit that they're proving now. Is that they're both like in their 40s or 50s or whatever, and they were trying to do a 2019 reboot of Sister Sister.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, okay, yeah, like we're adults now and stuff, and you can see our families and all that. And they had to cancel it due to lack of interest because, according to the producers, they're like, their plan was to show that they had happy and successful families, and then to do like a sitcom, like in the old style, like fucking, Cosby Show kind of shit, where it's like a happy family.
Yeah.
That they have sitcom problems and stuff. There's still conflict and all that shit,
Mm-hmm.
but like no one's divorced and there's none of that kind of shit going around.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, we just don't want that now. If your characters were divorced, and like, yeah, but we wouldn't know how to play, somebody from a broken family because we're not from a broken family. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, there's just a lack of interest. And it's funny because it wasn't a lack of interest in the audience. It was a lack of interest in making it from the big money people.
Yeah, that's one thing The Simpsons really did. They really turned interest from, happy, satisfied, successful families to more dysfunctional, broken families.
Yeah. And, it's because Matt Groening's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Although honestly, by modern standards, The Simpsons are a pretty normal and healthy family, I think.
This is the thing I'm going to miss least about this game, when you just try to get a fucking mop bucket and out pops a leg. And the whole fucking reason that they do that is because they're like, yeah, it's supposed to be a random number generator event to spoil speedrun attempts. And I'm like, okay, what if you're, trying to play this game for fun? Why isn't that an option that you can turn off? Whatever, I guess, Fuck it.
Well, Mask, who could take Jamar Chase before 6? Like, okay, who else would take Jamar Chase? I guess the Bengals are the only team that could consider it.
Would they, though? Would they?
Yeah, I did not realize how big of a pain in the ass these wall growths were going to be.
I didn't either, until I just got a wild hair up my ass and decided I'm going to take care of that first. Man, I'm glad I did that. Because if I try to do that for last, holy shit, I'd have had a fit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the reason that it's like a fucking 3-hour average time thing, not anything else. Because trying to get rid of these things just creates so much more mess because of how fucked up the laser welder is. And that's yet another thing. It's like, yeah, this is to interfere with speedrun attempts, is so that you have to pause and give the laser welder time to recharge. Otherwise, it'll start going crazy and make a huge mess.
Ayaan, I don't know when Clinic's getting called up, but I don't expect it to be for at least a couple of months, honestly. Because, especially when we get some of our guys back healthy, the lineup is not the problem. The outfield is not the problem. Even TlVlO is learning how to take walks and have good plate discipline. It's not like we need Clinic right now in trying to win games. Now, maybe we need him to give him Major League experience. but
God damn it, how the fuck the physics system in this game works. Not allowed to stack 2 mop buckets at once, huh? Thanks for shit.
you know, the speedrunners I watch do it with remarkable ease, and I don't understand how it works.
And see, that's another thing, is it's like you do all these different things to try to interfere with speedrunners, to give them random things that might make it harder for them to do. And then they just laugh at that shit as they come up with different ways to get around it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a lot like gun laws. You're not impeding criminals from buying guns illegally at all. What you're doing is just making it more inconvenient for people that follow the law.
I kind of remember that mask, but I don't think it ever got very far. Alright, alright. I think the ceiling here is solid.
You see what I mean, though? Like, look at the floor right now. They're mopping up and shit. Like, most of this... Ah, damn it. Anyway, most of that floor is clean. But you look at it and it looks dirty as hell, because that's just the texture design. Very annoying.
Okay, yeah, Ken Giles is elite, but is he going to be here this year, Ian? I was under the impression that he was out the whole year. The fact that so many pitchers get Tommy John is a real problem, and I don't know what the Major League Baseball can do to address it. Like, every year they lose so much pitcher talent for a whole season because of Tommy John.
Throwing curveballs.
Yeah, it's brutal. And I don't know what you can do about it. It's like...
Throwing curveballs.
Yeah.
Pretty much your only choice. What's weird, you know, is like when teenagers that are thinking that they'll have the talent to make it to at least minor league baseball are having fucking the surgery when they're like 15. Like, okay, dude. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I realize Tommy John is no longer a death sentence like it used to be, but it still, like, takes a year of your career.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I hit it with my mop once.
Yep. Oh, fuck me. You gotta wash the ceiling. Ugh. Okay, I'm just chucking the buckets. Fuck them.
But, yeah, going back to that stuff you were saying about, you know, only try as hard as you need to try to get by. Like, one Twitch streamer, a guy on Twitch I follow, I don't watch him that often, but I watch him sometimes. He's 40 years old. He's got a wife and he's got a kid. And he works as a janitor. And has for basically his entire adult life for the same company. And he has no interest in ever getting anything different from that. He's just kind of intends to be a janitor for the rest of his life. And he's pretty at peace with that. He doesn't ever need to get rich. He doesn't ever need to even have a great life. He just wants to have enough money to be able to stream video games and keep his family together. And to
Yeah.
me, that sounds a little like, I don't know, but he seems pretty happy doing it, so who am I to say it's wrong, I guess?
I mean, you know what my goals are. I want to leave the country, live in like Colombia, and just have a nice place and a nice family, and just try to be at peace and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can get away with doing that and making like pitiful amounts of money, fine. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm trying to do what I'm doing right now because I'm all like, you know what? I just don't know what's going to happen. So to me, this seems like a good way to cover my bases and a good
Mm-hmm.
way to try to launch myself into the position I'm trying to be in. So here's hoping it works.
But like the guy I was talking about, he dropped out of high school. I think he did 1 year of high school and just tapped out. So, higher ambitions are kind of, the boat has kind of already sailed.
Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting to me how he's already just kind of like accepted that he's just going to be a janitor. Because I feel
Wow.
like in America, you don't see that as often. I feel like in America, you're far more likely to view your current not so great state of living as a temporary setback rather than a permanent thing.
Well, that's the funny thing, is that as someone who's worked at a janitor before, there's really nothing wrong with doing it. Like
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
it's an easy job, it's a low stress job. Problem generally, and this is something you'll find in all countries and all cultures, no matter what the job is it's one of those jobs that like women look at it and they go, ugh. So the real thing here that's making it so that he can be happy with that level of his life is that his wife is okay with that and is not willing to blow up their life, and take his kid away from him just because he has that job. That's the really impressive thing here.
Hmm. Yeah, yes, I know who that is, Ian. I know who Filoki is. I've seen some of his videos. I know who that is.
Because,
Uh,
Dave Chappelle has got this joke he's had for a long time. He's all like, ladies, if you would fuck a man that lives in a cardboard box, we wouldn't buy a house. It's not completely clear across the board because there's always exceptions, but generally dudes are willing to accept a very subpar standard of living.
yeah.
Uh, you know, and the only thing that really has them going for more than that is because women don't accept that.
Yeah, Gavin McInnes made a joke about that once, about how that's why he thinks that women get everything in divorce settlements because the man is just like, okay, just let me have my bed and my phone charger and you can have everything else. Just let me get out of here.
Basically, like that's what the old joke is. It's like, why is divorce so expensive? Because it's worth it.
Hmm.
And that's, like I said, it's not completely clear across the board, but that's how it is for a lot of guys. They're like, fuck it, I never wanted this shit in the first place. Only reason I got it is because, I wanted to have a wife and I wanted to have a family, but now I'm paying 40% of my gross so that I can fund this bitch to go fuck other dudes and teach my children to hate me. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah, Mask. If the Cowboys actually trade up to number 4 for Kyle Pitts, I'm gonna laugh very hard. Yeah, that's what that team needs.
It's really funny because like a lot of people are sitting there like, okay, what is they're thinking that there's different ways that they can game the system and things will work. They're like, hey, according to statistics, something around only 30% of the marriages between first-time marriages, people over the age of 30 that are both college educated. I'm like, only 30% of those marriages fail. And guys are like, yeah, that's the ticket. That's how you fucking do it. And it's like, dude, are you fucking serious? That's still 1/3 of a chance that it's gonna go to shit. And you're thinking that you can game the system here. It's like, well, yeah, but it gets much higher when, when she's younger and when she's not college educated and all this other shit. And it's all like, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. You can't just look at numbers in a vacuum and think that that means anything, and that applies to everything. Numbers in a vacuum doesn't mean anything in fucking Moneyball. You got to consider the context. That's what you got to learn.
It's not.
I'm getting a little tired of shuffling these little fucking burnout pods of shit to the
Just
fucking furnace.
get a basket. You could probably put like 10 or 15 of them in one of those boxes.
Nah, that physics system's been really fucking riding my ass tonight. I don't want to risk it.
I'm gonna
I
start.
mean, I know that these things don't make a mess when they fall, but like, I just don't want to have an aneurysm from trying to fucking turret wrangle this shit.
All right.
Anyway, I'm gonna take my mop buckets and go upstairs now.
All right. I'll start getting these suckers in the furnace.
Two. Surprised. Fuck off. Hey, look, 2 fucking sacks of meat in a row. Hey, look, 3 sacks of meat in a row. Hey, look, 4 sacks of meat in a row. Finally, a fucking mop bucket.
I'll
Holy
clean it.
shit.
I'll take care of this. I'm about to. I am about to start rounding up these turds.
Okay, we go 6 buckets.
Anyway. All right, Daniel. I'll take a look. I didn't see his name listed anywhere. I'm surprised he didn't come up for me somewhere, but okay. I'll do that. God damn it. More guts. It's like this game knows this is our last map ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mask. So do you think Penny Hart's actually going to be part of the offense this year? Because I've kind of written him off as a special teamer, but he may have a role in the offense this year. What do you think? Hey, Haircut, how's it going? Speaking of which, your name, I'm actually probably going to get my haircut in the next few days here, so maybe you can update your profile picture with a picture of my new haircut.
Did you say Penny Hearts away?
I said the name Penny Hart. Yes, he's a player on the Seahawks who's a bit time player. I was asking a question about him.
No, he's a player on the Orlando Magic. Throws the
Oh.
lobs to Shaq.
Oh, you're right. I never even made that connection. Very nice.
Penny Hearts away. Heck, nah, it was Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to say in for a penny, in for a pounding. Hee hee.
You know what's weird in this game? If you like turn around really quick, it's like your character actually like leans over. Sometimes it's kind of cool. I feel like I haven't seen that in other first person games. Yeah, I need to get my hair cut. It's starting to get hotter out. I just want to shed as much of this as possible. save money on shampoo.
Yeah, that's why I just shaved my head.
I thought about doing that, but I've heard horror stories about people doing that and then it doesn't grow back.
Yeah, I mean, it depends entirely on how your hair grows, but I mean, you know, we've talked about this before. I've had the same hairline since I was 15, so, you know, I don't have that concern.
Mm.
Because when my dad was my age, he had already started losing his hair pretty significantly. So when I look at pictures of him when he was my age, and then I look at picture on my mom's side of the family, when they were my age, it's like, well, it's pretty clear whose genes I inherited here in terms of the hair thing. It's like I look at my mom's dad, my grandpa, he's like in his 80s and he's still got a fucking luxurious head of hair. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine.
That's good.
Not only that, but on my dad's side of the family, he's pretty much the only fucking guy that ever lost his hair. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, all my uncles are good. My grandpa was good. I mean, to be fair, my grandpa died when he was 63, but, you know, whatever. He might have lost his hair. We don't know.
Does Shane Waldron use two running backs a lot? I didn't know that, Mask. Yeah, my dad is 60 and he still has like a completely full head of hair. It's pretty amazing. Because I think the men in his family typically did not have it go down that way. I don't think I would look good without hair, so I'm really hoping that I can keep mine.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to make it look better. If I didn't have facial hair and just shaved my head, I think I would look weird.
Mm-hmm.
I just say, you know. I don't really have any desire to experiment, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, would you look at that? There's bullet holes up here.
Yeah, there were a
As if
few
all
down
that
here.
other, as if all that other shit wasn't enough. Ugh, I really wish there was a furnace up here. There's no way I'm gonna enjoy fucking carting all this dumb shit down there. Why am I trying to understand? Where is this greatness I've been told? Don't forget the ceilings.
Yeah, I'm working on that. So I did a little bit of research into the Dead by Daylight thing we were running into. As near as I can tell, based off what I read, and I'm not sure, the problem is there is a brief moment in the game's loading up process where FPS becomes uncapped. So it will spike to like thousands of FPS for a second, and that just makes everything shut down.
Yeah.
I'm very annoyed that a bug that idiotic can still exist in the game after all these years, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I can do about it exactly. I think there are programs that will cap your FPS. I don't know very much about this stuff.
Yeah, the developers really don't have the best reputation for that kind of shit, so I'm not surprised to hear it. I'm just disappointed.
Fair enough.
Because I've never had that problem. So I'm sitting here like, okay, like, I hate playing this game by myself. You know, try to get my friend involved in it, and no! Rare bug. And I'm like, oh, great, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
Like I was trying to fucking get you guys to make money off your pathetic game or nothing. Yeah, fuck it. These
Yeah,
dudes.
I don't know. It's like, I'm sure it's a good game. I just feel irritated that the game is so lazy they can't fix a bug that egregious.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm sure it is a fun game, Shauna, but yeah, I'll never know because the game does not reliably run on my computer, which is silly. My computer is basically could probably send a rocket ship into space.
Yeah, the computers NASA was using to actually land on the moon had like less memory than a speak and spell. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've heard that story before, actually. Yeah, Mass, didn't he actually beat Jalen Ramsey for a catch in the first Rams game, now that I think about it?
Man, hasn't everybody beaten Jalen Ramsey for a catch? Jalen Ramsey feels like the weirdest fucking guy that people like is the best corner in the league,
Mm-hmm,
and I just don't see it.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
He's,
think he's just a little too Jaguars, you know, like that franchise rubbed off on him in a bad way.
maybe.
Okay,
Maybe
I'm
there's
sending a
something
bunch
there.
of aids down,
Okay.
hoping that you can clean it. Not right now, but I'm like loading this elevator up.
All right. Okie dokie. Okay, come on, mop bucket dispenser. I don't like you and you don't like me, but god damn it.
I already know. Every fucking time.
Um, well, I don't know where the arm went, but it left its blood behind.
It's,
So, oh, cool. The arm just like disappeared. Okay.
it's
Oh no, it got ejected all the way over here somehow. All right, let's get this AIDS into the dispensary. So I know you're not exactly in love with Far Cry 3, but other than that game, is there anything else that comes to mind that we can try going forward? That
Oh
you
yeah, I
can,
haven't been thinking about that stuff. I'll take a look.
like, at this point, we're probably more than halfway through with Far Cry 5 if we want to be, if we decide to not do most of the side stuff.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. I was just
Hmm.
like, yeah, it just stopped being entertaining really quick.
Hmm.
There's
So,
too much like it just pulls you out of the game to do some dumb shit, you know?
hmm, yeah, so as for what else we can do, like, I cannot believe Call of Duty does not have good co-op. Like, two Call of Duty games have co-op, and I don't want to buy Call of Duty games anyway because they're still $60 after being out for 8 years.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. It's outrageous.
that really surprises me because we could have gotten good mileage out of Call of Duty co-op, I think. Even if we weren't in love with it, we still could have gone through with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Austin, I saw that. Yeah. Um, you know, I'm not.
Did you take everything out of the elevator so I can send down another shipment?
Let
Or
me see here. Did I get everything? I know I got some of it. Let me go check to make sure I got all of it real quick.
okay, there happens to
Yeah,
be a crate up here, so I'm trying
yeah,
to load that up
yeah.
first.
There's
Might make it a little
nothing on.
easier.
There's nothing on the elevator.
Okay, good.
Um, yeah, Austin. I don't believe in like hashtag back the blue or anything like that. I actually think that's kind of cringe. But like, you're not gonna win an argument with a cop if he tells you to get out of your car. You can think it's as unfair as you
Right.
want to. You're getting out of the car.
Yeah, I mean, I hate cops, but there's a lot of things that I hate worse. And, it's a lot like what you're saying. It's like, yeah, a lot of cops are on a power trip. A lot of cops are just assholes. A lot of cops abuse the authority that they're given. That's, goes without saying. But exactly what you said. You're not going to win that argument. And how many different fucking situations people end up in a bad situation with cops? There's plenty where the cops out of order. There's plenty where they do the wrong thing. There's plenty where they just end up killing some innocent person. There's also plenty where everything would have gone fine if fuckface had decided to just calm the fuck down and just do what he's told.
Hmm. Like, I don't
I
know if
mean,
you
you
saw.
gotta pick your battles. There's a time and a place for it.
Hmm.
Like I remember that fucking guy over at Wendy's. He was I remember right, he was cooperating, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just tries going for the gun.
Have you seen the pepper spray video thing from a few days ago?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, basically, this black, I think he's a army veteran or military veteran of some sort, gets pulled over in his car, supposedly because he didn't have visible tags on his license plate. However, he actually had the temporary dealer plate because I guess he had just bought it from the dealership or whatever. So he shouldn't have been pulled over. But so the cops are standing there with their guns on him, and they're like, "We need you to step out of the vehicle." And we want you to step out of the vehicle. And the guy's saying, I feel like you guys are going to shoot me as soon as I put my hands down to open my car door. And I'm like, well, I don't know why you would feel that way. So they ended up pepper spraying him because he wouldn't get out of the car. And I don't know, it's like, yeah, they probably were just on a power trip, but you're not going to win that argument. You just got to go with it.
Yeah, and like I said, it fucking yeah, it's like we both said. You're not gonna win that argument with the cop. Just do what he's telling you to do. We're not gonna know what would have happened, if he had just done
Hmm.
what he was told. It's hard to
And
say.
and
Yeah, the
file
cops are in the wrong,
a. Hmm.
but why would you pick a fight with a dude who has, the means, motive, and opportunity to kill you?
Hmm.
You know,
And file a complaint later. Do
right?
what the cop says now, file a complaint later.
If you really believe your life is in danger just because you've been pulled over by the police at all because you're black, why would you antagonize them? Is my question.
Yeah.
What good is that going to do?
Hmm.
Saying, "Hey, I feel like you're just going to shoot me as soon as I put my hands down to open the car door," that may be a valid concern, but like that's not going to get them to be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. We're in the wrong."
Hmm.
You're like, oh god.
And did you hear about the shooting thing that happened recently where somebody actually got shot and killed by a cop? This was like a couple
Uh,
days ago.
yeah, I think it was in Brooklyn or something.
It was quite something. The cop thought she was holding her taser, but was actually holding her gun.
Oh, you said everything right there. That's her excuse.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even memeing. Here's what happened. Because she's a woman and she's dealing with a male, I'm going to say the word suspect here because that's how police look at everyone who's not a cop.
Yeah.
So she's dealing with the male suspect, realizing he's bigger than her, realizing he's stronger than her, realizing that she's in danger for trying to be a cop in the situation. What's she going to do? She's going to escalate unnecessarily. She knew damn well it was her gun. She was in fear for her life. But she doesn't want to say that because, as it turns out, there was no fucking reason for her to be in fear for her life at all. And because she's a woman, she can't shut up long enough to let her lawyer do their job. So instead, she's, oh, I thought it was my taser, and making everything way fucking worse. No.
It's like...
There's a reason female police discharge their weapons at much, much higher rates than male police do.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's because when you're a cop, you feel in danger is when you bring your gun out. And women feel in danger like that all the fucking time.
But, if you take her at her word that she thought she was holding her taser but was actually holding her gun and shot and killed a guy, you know, they were trying to make it out like, you know, it's some sort of, like, race thing. Which,
Yeah,
if you take her at her word, then this was just a freak accident. This had nothing to do with race. That's what I don't get. Like,
yeah, what happened to hashtag believe all women, huh?
It's like...
I know. The whole fucking thing's stupid.
Yeah, it's like... It's awful, and she should probably get fired because that is a big mistake to make, but...
Well, women shouldn't be cops, is the point that I'm trying to get at, is because this kind of thing happens all the fucking time. You know? And it's sad.
Yeah. I may hate cops, but if you ever gave me a badge and a gun, it would...
Yep, exactly. Like...
I love that one. Oh, there were still a couple things left on that.
Yeah, but I'm coming down, because I'm done up here.
I'm getting close.
See, I'm coming down to help.
I feel like there's still shit left.
One call.
Okay, in chat, someone just said, I disagree, Snacks. I think she is just too stupid to be a police officer. Only reason she was there is because she is a woman.
Yeah, that's another reason that women shouldn't be police officers, is when you end up in the diversity Olympics situation. You know? It's like, there's lots of women doctors out there, but the amount of women that go to medical school and pass and get their degree and then actually go on to become doctors is a lot lower than the amount of guys who go to medical school who go on into medical school, pass, get their degrees, and go on to become doctors. Reason for that being is that women go because they want to marry a doctor. They go there and they meet a doctor and marry him. Guys aren't doing that for ladies, but consider how much of a humongous fucking waste it is for a woman to be wasting a roster slot in medical school, where a guy who would have actually gone on to become a doctor would have actually gone and done that. So, you know, imagine if a guy who actually would have done his fucking job right had been able to go to that police academy instead of her. I was telling my sister this story when we were having breakfast earlier. You know, I was dealing with, back when I was working, I was dealing with one of the engineers who was on site. You know, is that he's asking me for my help in setting up an extension ladder, because he really didn't know what he was doing there. And you got to understand, this dude's an asshole. So I was noticing as he was trying to do this himself, he really doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He can't even set up a ladder. So I wasn't even making fun of him when I said this. I was just like, wow, I think you're like the only person on this job site who might know less than I do. And he was all like, oh yeah, hey buddy, how much do you make an hour? I'm like, $16.92. He's like, yeah, I made like almost $300,000 last year. I'm like, great, man, I wish I got paid that much to do my job wrong. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do about it, buddy? Like, I don't know.
Oh, good catch, Mask. I didn't really ever notice that, but that is a good catch. Oh my god, how many times is this thing gonna jam? Do I have to, like, babysit it the whole way down?
Pretty much.
Okay, let's
Sucks at the
swap.
vending machines upstairs because there was only one fucking first aid kit up there that needed to be filled. And there's like 7 down here. Like, goddamn. Okay. There you go. Oh crap, that's another thing. Fuck. Fuck. How was I able to do that? There we go. And back and I'll take. Oh.
Hey, so the defense did make one good play in the first month of the season, after all.
1, 2, 3. My bulbs. Okay.
My God, this ash just sucks the life out of your mop. I'm sure there is, Austin, and maybe nobody calls it that, but I'm sure something like that exists.
Oh, so what?
Toxic femininity. Is there such a thing? He asked, and I was like,
Yeah.
there probably has to be. I don't know if anybody calls it that.
Yeah. Don't try to use their language against them. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean, and yes, it is a thing.
Okay, I think we're good.
The hell was that?
What is up with all these, like, Huxley technology, um, like, exhibit-looking things you can open and close? I feel like we're
Oh,
supposed to...
Yeah, I know what that is. I'm working on it right now. What it is this is like an alien embryos lab study thing,
Yeah.
and the vending machine spits out light bulbs and alien embryos, and you got to make sure there's a working light bulb in there, and you got to make sure there's an embryo in there. Yeah. Remember, or I don't know if you remember the botany lab, but remember when we had to replant?
Yes, I do.
Pretty similar to that. Oh shit. Oh shit. It's another reason it's annoying that the vending machine's upstairs, because there's like a ton of those down there. But yeah, I'm working on it. Hell? Oh, don't you fucking tell me.
What?
Apparently I can break the light bulbs after I vend them out by throwing them too roughly onto the floor.
Oh.
It's annoying. Yeah, I gotta shuttle all this crap downstairs to,
There's a bullet hole somewhere on the ceiling. Where did it go? It was around here somewhere. God dang it, the bullet hole disappeared on me.
Anyway, yeah, I know that it may not seem like it because of all the things that I said today, but,
What?
hold on a second. Hold on a second. What I was gonna say is, I know it may not seem like it because of everything that I was saying earlier, but yeah, you know, there are nice women out there, blah, 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 etc.
Yeah.
Just really unfortunate when you end up in situations where, you know, your life or future may be depending on one of them and they inevitably let you down.
Mm-hmm.
Like that poor guy who got shot by that lady cop because it was so important to her to be a cop, but it was not important to her to actually be a cop. was important to her to be seen as being a cop, and she totally fucked everything up and killed that poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Austin,
I'm
no.
just assuming that he was killed. He
I
might
think
not
he
have been. I
was.
don't
I
know.
think he was. I haven't been
Okay,
following it that
1,
closely.
2,
Austin, I
3,
don't think Chauvin will get convicted. Not of what they're charging him of. He probably,
4,
you know,
5,
he should probably be charged with
6,
something.
7.
And I understand that, but I don't think he's going to get charged for murder too.
Yeah, I knew that he was going to be found not guilty the moment that they charged him with that, because there's no world where murder is actually what defines what he did. Because George Floyd did not die of the chokehold. There's no autopsy that has ever been done that says that that's what he died of. The absolute worst that they could say that Chauvin might have done is manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he get convicted of that, I don't know. But when the DA charges someone with a crime that there's no possible way they could get convicted of, it's usually sending a signal that they don't want the guy to be convicted. You need to understand that the district attorney is an elected position in this country. The reason that's relevant is because they're the ones who decide what cases they're going to prosecute and how they prosecute them. And this is someone who gets elected, which means that there's going to be a lot of political games being played with how they decide to prosecute. They don't care about sending this guy to jail. They care about whipping people up into a frenzy and saying that he's a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
When
Okay,
he gets found not guilty, it's going to cause a lot of riots. I would say that that's what people are looking for, and that that's done intentionally.
Okay,
Which is why I'm saying that the lockdowns are going to, as they're being removed all across the country right now, that's going to be canceled, because Chauvin's going to be found not guilty pretty soon because they charged him with a crime there's no possible fucking way they could convict him of. And once he's found not guilty, there's going to be another round of riots. Then they're probably going to say that all those people being outside rioting caused a spike in cases. And then they're going to say we need a lockdown again.
Okay, there is garbage somewhere around the incinerator, and I cannot find it. It's driving me nuts.
Oh, okay. My mop is filthy.
I'm wondering if it's inside the furnace and just not burning.
No. Have you whacked it with your mop like a billion times?
No, let's try it.
Remember that sometimes the dirty water can spill, and the furnace has some textures inside of it that can be covered in dirt.
Okay,
you know?
that must have been what it was, I guess.
Yeah, just hit around the insides and all that shit. And then, make sure that things like dirty mop buckets and all that crap are put away.
Okay, it's spiking like crazy right around here.
Is it?
Right here.
Oh, I know what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, these broken light bulbs count as trash.
I mean, Austin, I'd like to believe that's not how our justice system works. And it hasn't stopped them before.
What do you say?
No, he's just saying, I think they will convict him just to not have riots. And I'm like, I don't think that's how
Here's the thing. Who convicts him is the jury. The jury could be filled with people who want to convict them, sure. It could also be filled with people who don't want to convict them. All it takes is one person on that jury having a not guilty opinion, and that creates a hung jury, which creates a mistrial. So then they have to decide, okay, there's nothing more that we can do with this one, so we got to try again with a new jury. But here's what's going to happen: is that it's going to be a mistrial, you know, and again, this is probably best case scenario. It'd be a mistrial. There's people who want to convict them. There's people who don't. And what's going to happen, because this always happens in high-profile cases like this, somebody's going to talk. Somebody on that jury is going to talk, because they're going to be like, "Oh wow, I was on the jury to, you know, for the, God damn it, I was fucking doing stuff."
Oh, I'm sorry. I found a USB drive.
Just leave it at the entrance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah. So. God, I fucking hate this game. The identity of the jury is going to come out because somebody's always cashing in. They're going to try to write a book, or you know, they're going to do something stupid, and all they need to do is say, "Hey, somebody on that jury is white," and the community is going to put 2 and 2 together. And get 5, and assume that the white person said not guilty because they're trying to defend Whitey. So then they're going to cause riots over that. And I can guarantee you that not everyone on that jury is black, because there's not a fucking defense attorney in the world who would look at the makeup of that jury and think, yeah, considering what he's being tried for, I'm okay with seeing 12 jurors that are all black.
Yeah, Austin, it will probably be a mistrial hung jury. I think that's exactly what we're looking at.
Yeah. I'm hoping for an outright not guilty verdict, because if it's a mistrial hung jury, you can be tried again, because the jury didn't convict, they weren't able to convict, but they came up with a non-result. So, which means that as long as that happens, you can be tried again, because they need either a not guilty verdict or a guilty verdict. So I'm hoping for a not guilty verdict because of how funny I would find it if he was not able to be tried for this ever again.
Right.
But yeah, that's probably not going to happen. There's going to be at least one person on that jury who wants to convict him, just like there's going to be at least one person on that jury who doesn't.
Yeah. And the thing is,
I got to tell you this though, I would not want to be on that jury. Like, you wouldn't be able to pay me to be on that jury, because like I said, the identity of the people on that jury is going to come out sooner or later. There's a lot of pressure on those people, and there's going to be even more once they actually start doing jury deliberations. But don't think that just because of what we hear in the media, that makes it a cut and dry case. People felt the exact same way about Trayvon Martin, and then the actual case itself was filled with a lot of information that people did not hear because the media chose not to report it. And yeah, you know, no one in that courtroom was surprised when George Zimmerman was found not guilty.
What if on the retrial it is 11 guilty and 1 non-guilty again? They can't just keep trialing, right? Like, it isn't an infinite loop. I actually don't know.
They can continue to retrial forever. You know, if it's 11 guilty, 1 not guilty, they can continue forever. Here's the thing. What I said, the DA is an elected position. It starts to look bad when you try a high-profile case that many times, and it is that many times considered a mistrial hung jury. This is why it's occasionally really difficult to convict drug kingpins and mafia fucking dons. At some point, because it's an elected position, they say, okay, we've lost a lot of face on this whole thing, so I'm just going to let this go. It's also why law enforcement agencies constantly say things like, it takes a while to build a case, because they're trying to create so much evidence against the guy that there's no way that there could possibly be a mistrial, and yet sometimes there is, because again, the identity of juries still manages to get out. Somebody talks because they're thinking they can make money, or they're getting bribed to, or they've been threatened or whatever, And as soon as you know who's on that jury, you can start fucking jury tampering. You know, things just happen.
But yeah, the moment they said they found fentanyl in George Floyd's bloodstream, I started thinking like, yeah, he's going to get off, isn't he?
Because there's no possible way that he could be found responsible for his death. Because he had over 3 times the fucking lethal dose of fentanyl in his system. You know, there's going to be at least one person on that jury who hears that and also hears the autopsy report say that the cause of death was not due to strangulation. And they're going to think, you know what? I don't think what Chauvin did is what killed this guy. And just like that, he says not guilty, because when you're getting tried for fucking murder, there's a tremendous amount of responsibility on the prosecutor to prove. Because the difference between murder and other types of charges is that you have to say you knew what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You knew damn well that what you were going to do was going to kill him, and you just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck could you possibly say that about what Chauvin did when what he was doing to George Floyd, number one, is not what killed him. Number two, is part of the fucking training handbook for police in that jurisdiction, Minneapolis, whatever. Like, in that context, you know, how could he have possibly thought that he was doing anything wrong? He was doing exactly what he was trained to do.
There's a big old piece of garbage right around here. Oh, I see. Well, yeah, Austin. I mean, he did something wrong, and should probably be held accountable for that. But just because he did something wrong doesn't mean he should be charged with murder.
Again, you have to understand that, again, media is not showing you everything that the jury is being shown. What the jury is being shown, as long as the defense is not intentionally trying to take a dive here, is videos that I remember watching that were very quickly scrubbed from the internet because YouTube and Twitter and all of them didn't want that shit being up, which is the full fucking body cam footage that we saw from that day. You may remember how big of news that was when that happened, where George Floyd is seen swallowing a package of what would later be determined to be fentanyl, which he was fucking selling. He was a dope dealer. And obviously something went wrong with the packaging, and he started having a fucking reaction to what was going on in there, you know, burst in the stomach or whatever. He starts feeling it in the system. He starts saying, "I can't breathe," when he's inside the car, handcuffed, alone by himself. And, you know, people were trying to be like, well, when he says, "I can't breathe," with the guy's, you know, knee on his neck, is because he's in a chokehold. It's like he was saying that shit when he was in the car by himself. You know, handcuffed with his fucking hands behind his back, is because he was having a fucking fentanyl overdose. And not only that, in that same video, George Floyd asks the police to take him out of the car so that he can breathe. He thought he was just being claustrophobic or having a panic attack or something inside the car. He asks them to take him out of the car. Once he does, he starts convulsing and fighting very hard. Now, police in that situation, when this guy's acting weird as fuck, asks you to take him out of the car, and then he starts what looks to be resisting, they're going to think, oh, well, okay, I guess I got to restrain this guy. And then once again, what'd he do? He did what's in the training handbook. He put his knee on the back of the guy's neck. How the hell can you argue that he was intending to kill him and that he knew he was going to kill him and didn't care? That's not murder. No. Even if you wanted to say that that is what killed him and he's responsible for that death, again, accidental death, that would be manslaughter. Is not what they charge him with, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's murder too.
Right. And all that shit's fucking insane. But like, all you really got to do is just present the autopsy report. Oh yeah, he didn't die of strangulation. It's like, okay, well clearly my client didn't fucking kill the guy, so the hell are we doing here? Defense rests, Your Honor. Like you guys are probably too young to remember this, but we got a lot of the same shit with the Trayvon Martin case. Where it sounded like a white man was just really fucking obsessed with killing some poor young black boy who didn't do nothing. And then you listen to what Massad Ayoob is saying, in the testimony for the defense during the case, talking about the lethal or the legal justification of use of deadly force. And everything's extremely cut and dry in that case. That the media was using a bunch of pictures of Trayvon Martin when he was 11, as opposed to the age that he was when he actually died. They're ignoring things like, they're not reporting on the police report when George Zimmerman, had very clearly been attacked, where he had a lot of wounds and grievous injuries to the back of his head, because as he testified, in the fucking police report, Trayvon Martin was slamming his head, the back of his head against concrete.
I remember that.
And, a lot of this was just complete bullshit. Because the media is not going to be reporting on all that, because there's a lot of different things that they want. They want people to feel outraged so that they keep tuning in to see the next step in the case to get justice for Trayvon Martin. And, a ton of other different things I'm not going to talk about right now, but realize that you're not getting the whole picture, and that we've seen all this shit before. I mean, those of us who are old enough to remember OJ, I mean, don't even get us fucking started.
Yeah, I do not remember OJ. The first big trial I remember was Scott Peterson. That was quite a trial. And the Michael Jackson one where he was found not guilty of everything. I can't remember who it was who accused him.
That's right. That's another good example, too, because Michael Jackson was targeted by high-up executives in the music industry, because Michael Jackson owned a hell of a lot of the music that was out there. Like, he had a lifelong obsession with Elvis Presley. Big surprise, he ended up marrying the dude's daughter. And he kind of took it upon himself to be the custodian of Elvis's musical legacy. He owned Elvis's music. So, they'd been trying for years to be like, hey, can we buy that from you? And no matter how outrageous the offer was, he kept saying, no, it's mine, and I'm not going to let you thieving bastards tarnish that legacy. So what they did then is they paid a bunch of people to accuse him of molesting him. Now, a lot of the same people who own those music companies, by the way, are either related to or are the same people who own a lot of those same media companies that control the news narrative that you're hearing. What they want you to think is when you hear a jury say not guilty about something that is so obviously, oh, that dude was guilty. They want you to think that they just got some crooked people on those jury or was just a bunch of retards. There's no way that this dude was actually not guilty. But you got to consider that when your information that you're hearing is limited to what you're getting from the media, and that those that are in the courtroom are hearing a lot more context, a lot more everything related to the case, there's probably a situation where you're being lied to and you're being fed a false bullshit narrative. You always got to ask yourself things like who benefits and where the information that you're getting is coming from. Anyway, I think we're close enough. I'm ready to fucking get out of here.
All right. I think you're probably right. All right. We were promoted.
99%. I'll take it. I'm not uninstall this game.
All right. I would uninstall the game, but I have so much room on this hard drive, there's no need for me to. All right. Okay. Took us less than 2 hours to do that map. I feel pretty accomplished about that one. Ah, my ass bone hurts. I sat on it weird.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do I think OJ was guilty? Yes, Austin. As near as I can tell, he probably was. But I didn't. I was what 5 years old when that case was happening, so I don't have any recollection of it. Um,
Either, see, here's the thing. Either O.J. Simpson was guilty, or he knew who was guilty and was trying to protect them. But O.J. Simpson absolutely knows who did it.
okay. Okay, so someone in chat just said, "Can you explain to Snacks that Trayvon hitting the back of Zimmerman's head could have easily been a reaction to Zimmerman pulling a gun out?" Which I guess is true. We don't, we don't have camera footage of exactly what happened, but I mean, I think my thing is just that if you're trying to put murder on somebody, it needs to be a thing where you can actually prove it. You
Okay,
can't
well,
say benefit of the doubt goes to the conviction.
I have a series of questions. Number one, uh, is whoever said that, are they just playing devil's advocate here, or do they think that Zimmerman was guilty? Number two, how old is the person who said that? Number three, guy fucking pulls a gun out on you. According to what Zimmerman said, is that when the gun came out, it was in his waistband, and in the midst of their struggle, his shirt had come up, and it had been revealed Trayvon knew it was there. Zimmerman saw when he looked at Trayvon that Trayvon knew it was there. He was looking at it. Zimmerman realized, oh shit, okay, this is now a battle to the death because he's probably going to be reaching for it soon. So he grabbed the gun. Then there was a struggle for it. Zimmerman fired. And when he did that, as soon as he squeezed off a round, Trayvon said, okay, I give up, but he'd already been hit and it was fatal.
Yeah.
And that was all of his testimony and everything. If that was untrue, you got to remember there were multiple witnesses to this event, witnesses that testified in this case. And all those witnesses testified that George Zimmerman's story was true. In addition, there was forensic evidence based off of, okay, Zimmerman said that he fired when they were at this range, and according to powder burns on Trayvon's body, and all this sort of shit is way too technical. I don't know how to fucking explain it because I'm just an idiot. But they said, okay, this corroborates what Zimmerman was saying in the case. And in a fucking case, in a murder case, the most high-profile murder case that was in the country at the time, and had been the most high-profile murder case in the country since the fucking Scott Peterson thing that you were talking about. And it was so high profile that the fucking president commented on it. And you're telling me that if they had evidence and witness testimony that was saying that what this dude said was not true, happened inside the case? Number
Yeah.
one, that we wouldn't have heard about it, and number two, that he would have been found not guilty.
Yeah. I mean, the Zimmerman thing, I kind of understand there was some complicated stuff. The one that really set me off was Michael Brown. That one was disgusting. Yeah. That one was kind of one of my, I guess you could call it, quote unquote, red pill moments. Like, if you actually look at the forensic evidence, it's so obvious what happened. And because Sean King decided to do his own independent forensic investigation into it that showed something different, it turned into a whole thing. That's the one that gets me. Because a whole city got burned down over that.
Oh, yeah. I'm checking your chat. I'm seeing this guy. First of all, the kind of person I would say could have. Zimmerman's guilty in my book. Yeah, we know, because you don't know a single fucking thing. Yeah. You have been fed a false bullshit narrative, and instead of thinking, why would someone want me to think this way? Instead, you're saying, well, you know what? This person would never lie to me. This group of folks would never lie to me. Whatever. If you think that I'm annoying to listen to, what you can do is you can turn the volume off.
And by the way, how does CNN still allowed to report news after they edited that phone call, the 911 call
Right.
Zimmerman had with
And
fucking
Zimmerman fucking sued him, and he won the case because they weren't playing the actual 911 call. They
yeah,
were
they
playing an
edited it.
edited version.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel's sitting here saying, no, that was the truth. Yeah, whatever, dude. Fucking retard. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. Like they edited to make it sound like he was chasing him because he was black. When,
Right.
yeah,
The 911 operator asked him because, hey, guess what? When the cops are looking for somebody, this may be relevant about what race the individual is. Because if there's a group of folks in the area that aren't all just one race, that might be relevant. If they know they're looking for a black guy and it's a white neighborhood, shit, that might be something worth knowing. So the 911 operator asked him, can you tell what race he is? Can you see his ethnicity? And then he says he looks black. What'd they do on the 911 call that you heard on the news? They edited the shit so it sounded like he said that unprovoked because they were trying to make you think that it was a racially motivated thing like you're talking about. That he was hunting somebody down because he saw a black guy in his neighborhood and he knew that he must be up to no good.
yeah, I remember that. I remember thinking to myself, like, how is CNN still allowed to operate anymore? This is
Right.
ridiculous.
So I'm sitting there like, dude, if you think that shit was true, then ask me how the fuck it is he gets to sue them for editing that fucking 911 call and airing that footage and he wins the fucking lawsuit. If that's not the case. But no, yeah, just say that I'm annoying as fuck to listen to because I disagree with you, because I'm challenging things that you've believed in for a long time because you like again, I asked this guy how old he was. I guarantee you. He was probably a kid when that shit happened.
God, that was like what, 8, 9 years ago. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was a
I don't know.
while ago. I still remember when the Heat all fucking went out there. Is oh yeah, on this day we're all Trayvon coming out wearing the hoodies.
Yes, Austin. Michael Brown was the Ferguson riots. Michael Brown was the Ferguson riot one. That was the one that got to me. That was the one that was like, okay. I remember thinking, well, okay, this has to be a pretty controversial case. So I went and actually read like the timeline of what happened that day, and it's like very, very cut and dry, and it's ridiculous that, you know, I don't know anything about Darren Wilson beyond the case, but it seemed like he got his life ruined because he did his job, and I kind of feel for that, you know? All right, let me see here.
Hey, hold on, I got like a bunch of different messes down here I'm trying to clean up.
In real life, not in the janitor game, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Fucking shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
All right, guys. It is almost midnight, so I think we're gonna be done for tonight. New video tomorrow. At least one, maybe two. I may have to address this Alden Smith thing because it's interesting to me, and I like it. And I kind of like the idea if we can afford it. So I may make a video about that. I'm definitely gonna make a second tight end video. Mhm. Uh, and there will be streams tomorrow. Don't know exactly what. Hopefully, I can beat Strikers. I'm actually really excited to see how that ends because it's getting pretty good. Uh, what else? Was I going to say something? Shoot. Oh, oh yeah. I'm going to be taking Friday off from work, so I may be around all day on Friday to stream and you know, have fun that way. So Friday, if you're able to make it out to a afternoon stream, earlier day stream, I will probably be doing one. And also, I'll just throw it out there. I'm probably going to do a call-in stream early next week. Okay, Snacks, are you still there?
Yeah, just cleaning.
Okay. Okay, no, Daniel wants you to hear one last thing that he had to say. He says,
Okay, go for it.
I mean, Zimmerman says at the end of the call they always get away. He preemptively went out there to start a problem, assuming Trayvon did something wrong, one, and two, he wasn't going to let him get away, and then he shot them, which,
Okay, do me a favor and look up the actual fucking 911 call before you keep talking about this. You're talking about the one that these folks got sued for playing it on the air and he won the lawsuit over. Look up the actual fucking call first.
mhm. All right. I mean, either way, one way or the other on the Trayvon thing, one thing I completely disagree with is this idea that he went out there because he's racist or something. In fact, is it wasn't George Zimmerman black, or am I misremembering?
He was Hispanic,
Oh, okay, okay.
and yeah, when you actually look at pictures of him that were taken on the incident in question, I dare somebody to look at that and say that George Zimmerman was a white guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I don't agree with that, based off everything that I saw. Although I will say this, George Zimmerman doesn't seem like he's that great of a person if you look at some of the other stuff he's done. I will say, to a certain extent, he probably went a little crazy because of the massive spotlight on him after that case, but he doesn't seem like the greatest guy in the world. I will admit that, but I don't see how you can really charge him with murder for anything that he did. I don't see it. Okay. All right, guys. It is almost midnight. I gotta go. I gotta let my dog out to probably take a dump, and then I'm gonna have to go deal with that. But yeah. So tomorrow might do an Alden Smith video real quick in the morning. Might definitely gonna do a tight end video. There will be a stream in the evening to discuss tight ends. So if you want to discuss tight ends in the draft, then go pay attention to my channel tomorrow evening, and there will be a stream where we talk about tight ends in the draft for like an hour. And yeah, that's about it. And then we'll stream more video games at night. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out, go Hawks. And yeah, that'll do it for me.